What is enlightenment? How do we get there? Well, this enlightenment genius is inside all of us, even you. Yes, even you. We all have it as children. It lies bottled up inside each of us, but only a few can open the bottle. Enlightenment and genius is a state of ego-less immersion in the now. It's a mental state of non-judgmental awareness, ecstasy, awakened intellect, aware of all, including desires, but not attached to desires or constructs, a liberation from false beliefs. It is a blissful, euphoric state of insight, transcending normal states of mind. The all reflected in a single mind. We open our mind and see all things are possible. It just takes time. Two different opposing ideas can be true at the same time. The infinite and infinitesimal, infinity to the power of infinity, is mirrored and expressed in a single point of expanded and contracted God consciousness. This enlightenment and genius in us all is repressed by cultural conditioning, repressed by pressure to conform, imposed rating judgments on the construction of the ego or self. This is inside all children, but we must learn to have a judgmental mind in order to know what not to do, what to eat, what not to eat, what taught to be rules. Someone has to see the future needs and store food, prepare shelter, anticipate for the future. Parents and schools must teach discipline, rules of behavior, required social conventions, and how to prepare to join society. This is essential. We must all be taught what to say, what not to say. And they try to teach us what to think and what not to think. We are pressured to form an ego, form a language, construct a timeline of past and future, make goals, and build social interaction with language. We are pressured to accept the ideas of others without question. Our language allows us to perceive a past and a future so that we can interact with others and explain our history and our hopes, our desires. But our language allows us to lie so we can cover up the past and embellish the future. The words can work against us. Our society knows that there are bad people who do bad things. The basic instinctual nature of human is the survival of self, survival of tribe, to protect things, to reproduce, to share, to help others, to communicate, to compete, to explore, and to exploit, and to twist our thoughts to conform to our beliefs. These are the instincts of the human. There are some, about 5%, 1 in 20, who have bad instincts. They have much more ideas of self, and they fake the instincts of helping others. They excessively lie and can sometimes have killer instincts. They become very clever and hide their selfish ego. Thus, we cannot depend fully on human instinct. We have to have laws to protect property, defend the weak, and to dictate the rules of society. Enlightenment and genius is further suppressed by the emotions of fear, anxiety, worry, hate, sadness, distraction, lust, guilt of the past, and hopes of the future. The enlightenment and genius is blocked by attachment to desire for things to be different, and distractions of greed, anger, lust, drugs, and self-gratification. Few can break free from the social conditioning. To break free, they must remove themselves from the marketplace. They have to get some seclusion to find the discipline and the time to get free from the words and the social false beliefs. They will learn to see the non-reality of social rules. They start to see the impermanence of thoughts and ideas. They start to see the non-reality of past and future, and they swim in the now. The mind is like a clear blue sky expanding infinitely in all directions. And through the sky pass clouds, but they are not the sky. They just pass through. Through the mind pass thoughts, words, but they are not the mind. They just pass through. So we do all kinds of exercises to reduce the words in our brain that our society has taught us were so important. As we practice reducing our words and reducing attachments, we start to observe our own mind, and from behind it we become the watcher of our thoughts. So one day a watcher is behind the other watcher and behind the other watcher, until finally we recognize behind all of those watchers is non-judgmental awareness. As we start to find ourselves beneath the words, we then start to lessen our attachments and our desires for things to be different. We develop the discipline to reduce desires, reduce attachments, reduce false beliefs, until one day we release the clinging. We see We hear, we feel, but we do not cling. We start to find that the flow of life, the Tao, the Dharma, the light flows around us. We have little control of it. So we need to be aware and change what we can and accept what we cannot. Reducing our judgments, reducing desires, attachments. We start to see the non-reality of rituals, borders, politics, beliefs. We start to become tempted by superpowers that try to take us off the path of enlightenment. But these are just distractions of ego and gratification, and they try to stop us. We finally see that the non-reality of ego itself, and with the loss of ego and becoming immersed in the now, we develop deeper non-judgmental awareness. We lose ideas of separation. We are all one. We become all, bursting with ecstasy. We expand our circle of compassion to include all things. We have stripped away our social conditioning and the sense of non-reality of words and ideas. We have become what we truly are. We are as children. We know that we are all one. We know the rules of society. We know how to talk. We know the words, but we know how to communicate with them, but not to get caught up in them. We are free from clinging. We are non-judgmentally aware. Now we can return to the marketplace with reduced suffering and be better able to help others. We are now what God and nature has made us. Enlightened geniuses. We are the true essence of what we are. Let's talk about enlightenment.
As we're talking about enlightenment, this really is a simple process of mind control, that if you can get to the point of reducing the words in your mind to zero for 10 minutes, you can get to the mind of the Buddha. Now that sounds easy, but it takes an awful lot of skill.
You have to make a deep commitment to do it. Leave the marketplace, find the solitude to be able to get your me time and do this. Make a firm commitment and enter the stream. You get into the flow. Study the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Read, study, meditate, and get to it. Break the chains that fetter and hold your mind. Reduce the distractions. Superpowers come, with them go. Learn to find a way to the path of enlightenment. And recognize that our bodies are made of energy. And they're energy fields. We don't perceive them all. They have a spiritual source. And what detracts us from really getting into that spirit is everyday trivia, distractions, greed, anger, arrogance, delusion, conformity, and they stop us. You must break the chains of distraction. Set yourself free. Imagine a life where you could focus the mind, and learn all about this as you learn to recognize that the fetters that hold you, the things that stop you, the delusions of self, doubt, attachment, sensual desire, anger, craving, all these things, conceit, restlessness, ignorance, all these things come in and try to stop you from becoming enlightened. You need to relax and get with the program and learn to meditate and control and reduce the words of the mind. As you open your mind, reduce your bias, you'll be able to see all sides. Now we're going to study and we're going to look at how the Buddha did it, how he stilled his mind.
For 6 long years, Siddhartha endured every form of ascetic practices until he finally realized that the middle path was the answer. Cultivation is like playing a musical string instrument. The string will snap if it is too tight, or not make any sound if it is too loose. Indulgence in sensual pleasure or extreme penance are attachments. Be at peace with the middle path for achieving the liberation of body and mind.
It was outside a little village called Bodhgaya. Siddhartha sat under a great tree, just like this one. He had found the middle way and restored his body to health.
The Buddha used this age-old classic breathing technique to help his mind.
And what is yogic breathing, pranayama? Pranayama is loosely translated as prana or breath control. Breathing affects our state of mind. It can make us excited or calm, tense or relaxed. It can make our thinking confused or clear. In the ancient yogic tradition, air is the primary source of life force. A psycho-physio-spiritual force that permeates the universe. Yogic breathing is used in yoga as a separate practice to help clear and cleanse the body and mind. It oxygenates the lungs by getting rid of an enormous quantity of carbon dioxide and other toxic gases. It's also used in preparation for asana, the practice of yogic postures and meditation, to help maximize the benefits of the practice and focus the mind. Conscious breathing techniques. Step 1. Concentrating on your breath. Close your eyes and be conscious of your breathing. Breathe slowly and rhythmically. There is no need to rush. Breathe in and breathe out a full, long, calm, and slow breath. When you breathe in, feel that you are breathing in the vital energy from this infinite universe. And when you breathe out, feel that all the stress and negative energy is going out of your body. Now you will notice your mind is becoming calmer and you are starting to relax. If you are not feeling calmer, do not worry. As you practice further, you will feel the tranquility. Step 2. Detaching from your thoughts. Now breathe again, same as before, but in your mind, count numbers when you inhale, and when you exhale. You will notice your breathing out count is about 1.5 times to 2 times to the breathing in count. There is no need to increase this count. Breathe in gentle and slow breaths. It needs to be as smooth as a sleeping baby, or like a free-flowing river. There is no reason to think or do anything. In every slow breath as you count the numbers, your mind is checking your breath and counting the numbers, and it will not have a chance to think about different things. There may be some thoughts. Just be conscious that there is a thought and do not attach yourself to it. Step 3. Connecting to your true self. Now try to concentrate above the center of your eyebrows, the third eye, and slowly breathe in and out at least 3 times. During this time, whatever thoughts arise, see them as just the thoughts. Do not get attached to them. You will notice that when you start a thought in your mind, there is someone in you who is listening to these thoughts. This silent listener was always present. Be conscious of his presence and try not to connect the silent self to the thought process. After some practice, you will notice the thoughts are not getting importance. Your mind will become calm and you will feel your connection to your own self. When you breathe in, feel the vital energy is reaching the lungs and slowly going into your blood vessels, the heart, the brain, and whole body. Feel the white light in your mind, and when you breathe out, let all the stress and negative energy, worries, and laziness go out from your body, and you are feeling light and lighter.
And as you try to meditate and try to reduce the word brain, the forces of distraction attack you and try to stop you from becoming enlightened.
And then 5 girls appeared. They looked like innocent village girls, but in fact, they were the 5 daughters of Mara, Lord of Darkness.
The distraction of sexual lust and sensuality.
They were the spirits of pride, greed, fear, ignorance, and desire. And Mara had sent them to tempt Siddhartha away from his search.
Tempting the hormones of sexuality, sensuality, to distract the mind from being able to keep on its path of quieting and releasing attachment. And as the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, clearing out his attachments, reducing the words in his mind, the forces of distraction inside, God of Mara, as he called it, came and tried to pull him away. You see, this is the story of the Buddha who discovers the middle path. He breaks the chains of desire and faces the powers of temptation as they try to distract him. Mara had sent the carnal distractions to be able to tempt the mind. Not that these are evil, as part of life, but he had to resist the temptation, to calm the mind by reducing all the words, resisting the temptation, reducing the words and judgments. The Buddha was able to come to a type of enlightenment, to sense the true nature beneath all the temptations, beneath all the distractions, to sense his true self. At the right time, the powers of dance and sensuality are good, but during the meditation, not so good. It is at the time of the meditation that Buddha must calm down the distractions that come to try to talk the mind away from the enlightenment process, because he needs to relax. And this is the story of the Buddha who discovers the middle path. He breaks the chains of desire and faces the web of emotion, even violent emotion. But the Buddha could still his mind. After years of practice, calming down the mind to reduce beneath the words, to be able to set free the traps of emotion, to be able to sense the deep qualities of peace, beyond labeling them, beyond judging them, just to become aware of the mind.
Mara had tried to tempt Siddhartha in the cleverest of ways, by disguising the temptations of life in the simplest forms.
The mind tries to label, tries to judge, tries to force words. We have to be able to calm down the words, get back to the mind of the child, get back to that place before the words, where that magic was, that enlightenment genius.
But Siddhartha was looking beyond form, beyond the present. And now Mara was enraged.
This is the story of the Buddha. He has to fight against the forces trying to stop his mind. He discovers the middle path. He breaks the chains of desire and faces the armies of distraction.
Shut the fuck up!
But after years of discipline, the Buddha at this time was able to calm the mind, not to judge, not to label, not to use any words, but just to have the perception, not drawn towards or away from anything. He found that place to reduce the words, quiet the mind. This is the story of the Buddha, who discovers the middle path. He breaks the chains of desire and faces the trap of superpowers.
Siddhartha sat in cultivation beneath the Bodhi tree. Alone, he confronted the tortuous assailants from Mara's evil hordes.
It seemed as if Mara had been defeated, but in fact, he had not yet given up the battle. Now he attacked again.
And possibly the hardest battle that we all have to face in this process of enlightenment is coming to grips that our own ego, our own self, is but an illusion. A collection of energies moving back and forth, but still just an illusion.
You who go where no one else will dare. Will you be my god, architect? Finally I have met you. You will not rebuild your house again. But I am your house. And you live in me. O Lord of my own ego. You are pure illusion. You do not exist.
Come to die. Your world is now mine. What is this?
The earth is my witness.
The earth is my witness. At that instant, Siddhartha was in complete tranquility and perfect emptiness. He was enlightened and he became the Buddha.
For the Buddha had quieted his mind of the words, and basically then was able to come to that space, that quality of enlightenment, the feeling of nirvana, that bliss. This is the story of the Buddha, who discovers the middle path. He breaks the chains of desire and must even overcome the illusion of self.
All sentient beings exist with a Buddha nature, but it is suppressed by vexation and delusion.
Siddhartha won the battle against an army of demons just through the force of his love and the great compassion he had found.
I wish to be humble. I am not enslaved by fame and wealth. I have come to spread the Dharma, to free all sentient beings from the sea of samsara.
And he achieved the great calm that precedes detachment from emotions. He had reached beyond himself. He was beyond joy or pain, separate from judgment.
Every person has an inner self that can shine forth.
Able to remember that he had been a girl, a dolphin, a tree, a monkey. He remembered his first birth and the millions after that.
Buddha, please let go of me. I am dirty.
Niti, we should not look down upon ourselves. One does not become distinguished by one's birth, but by one's behavior.
He could see beyond the universe. Siddhartha had seen the ultimate reality of all things. He had understood that every movement in the universe is an effect provoked by a cause.
Since enlightenment, I've shown you the noble eightfold path. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. I have never wearied of teaching the Dharma.
The Buddha was born in a palace. While still in his youth, he became he attained enlightenment under a Bodhi tree. At the age of 80, between a pair of Sala trees, the Buddha entered Nirvana.
I have delivered all the sentient beings I could, and have planted the seeds of deliverance for those who have yet to be delivered. Let the precepts be your teacher, and my teachings your guide.
He knew there was no salvation without compassion for every other being. From that moment on, Siddhartha was called the Buddha, the awakened one.
There was a time in my life where I was in between jobs. Having studied about all these things, I was able to focus my mind and focus all of my efforts on enlightenment for a year's period while I was collecting unemployment in between jobs. Focusing on that and doing all the different meditation techniques such as Vipassana, walking meditation, yoga, and a host of other things, slowly I was able to develop the mind and control the words until I was able to get to that point of being able to capture enlightenment. And then, as you start to blend the right and left hemispheres, quiet down the word area, stop clinging to the form, stop clinging to things, you can get to a point of transcendence. Once you've transcended and gotten to that enlightenment, once you've been able to get to there, then you can come back to the marketplace. People of the marketplace want to go on to the path of enlightenment. And once they've gone through all the procedures of unfettering the mind, breaking all the chains, once they've been able to do that and get to that point of mind control, to control and sedate the word area of the brain, they can get to that place to be able to lose their expectations, let go, and they can then return to the marketplace. As they return to the marketplace, they're not clinging to things. It's the same things that happen. They buy, they sell, they purchase, they fall in love. They have the same events, only now they're not clinging to things so strongly. They don't suffer as much. And if they do suffer, it's only a short period of time, a natural flow, as they then can sense the flow of things, the natural flow. And this is what we call the enlightenment process. This is an easy process for you to do if you pay attention and follow the little procedures that we have in the books and the movies.